All right. Got to fix my eyeballs so they don't stick together. They do. Haven't none of your mascara ever stick. Welcome to Jay and Laura TV. We're here to answer your questions about marriage and relationships. And today we have a question that came to us via Facebook. My wife and I are on our second and third marriages respectively. How do we deal with guilt, shame, and sinful feelings over our failed marriages? And now being remarried again, we want to keep this marriage godly. Well, you know, it was very interesting because we were on the Marriage Cruise 2015, and Jay and I were dialoguing as we met couples and talked to couples and had dinner with couples and lunches with couples. Here's what we discovered. About half of the couples that were on our cruise were in remarriages. And that was very interesting to me, at least, to realize. And here was the even more interesting thing, that as we talked to these couples and as they shared with us the situations that had caused them to be in a second or third marriage, they all unanimously were, we want this marriage to work. And that's what I hear this gentleman saying is, we want this marriage to work, but we have some guilt and some shame, and how do we deal with that?
Right. Our daughter-in-law pointed us toward a really good book that I'm reading right now called Redemption. And it talks about taking your past and letting Christ redeem your past. That's why Christ came to die, is to redeem our past and the guilt and the shame. And so I think that's the first step, is you've got to realize that it is an act of God that's going to take away this guilt and shame, and that Christ is able to do that. And so I'd recommend that book, Redemption, great book.
Something I've always heard too is to remember that God's not the author of guilt. The guilt is coming from the enemy. God is not causing that. So
That's
just
right.
claim that and take that thought captive when you have those guilty feelings.
So number one, that's a great start, realize Christ. Secondly, you might need some counseling. Guess what? We're not perfect. We need help sometimes, and sometimes you need professional help. Sometimes it could be your pastor. Sometimes it might need to be a therapist, where you need a long-term counseling situation. But don't be afraid to seek that, because it's part of the restoration process. And finally, this is what Laura and I have done. We surround ourselves with couples who want to be married. I know that sounds silly, but we're in a marriage small group, and everyone in that group wants to be married. So we encourage each other. We joke with each other. We build each other up.
We can act as a support system too, and those issues do come up.
So find couples who want to celebrate their marriage like you do, and hang out with them. My dad said, you become the books you read and the people you hang out with. So find that book, Redemption. It'll help you a lot, and start hanging out with people who love to be married. It's not always easy, but we love to be married. Well, this is Jay and Laura TV. Hit reply right now and send us your question on marriage and relationships, because Jay and Laura TV is about answering your questions on marriage and relationships.